Hello, YouTubers. Okay, it feels like Christmas Eve, though it isn't, right? And the reason is, I've contacted someone who is selling a 1x12 cabinet. Okay, and I mean, this is an oldie. Right, so there's not much money involved. Okay, it's from the 70s. An old cabinet. Kind of, well, really a mystery cabinet. But sometimes those are the best sounding and the most fun. Now this particular one, well, it has casters and metal side handles. Wow! But that's not it. That's not the exciting thing, you know. And in fact, to tell you the truth, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. I really hope so. We'll see. Tomorrow evening, we'll see. You know, if he has changed his mind or sold it to somebody else, you know, that kind of thing. You never know. But if it goes through, it'd be very exciting, because this is no ordinary 1x12 cabinet, and it's because of what it holds inside. Okay, and that is one of the, supposedly, though I've actually never heard one in person, because they're actually quite rare and quite hard to find, especially in working condition. But supposedly, it is considered to be the best guitar speaker ever made. I mean, can you believe that? The best guitar speaker ever made. Now granted, that's subjective, of course, you know, who knows? You know, especially with all of the modern speakers out today. I mean, it may sound horrible, who knows? But supposedly, it's supposed to be, right, the opinion, I guess, is that it is one of the best speakers ever made. And that is the Electro Voice SRO coffee can speaker, and it's 8 ohm, 75 watt handling capacity, but they made several versions, and the most sought after, and in fact the most expensive and probably the most rare, I would think, is the SRO Electro Voice SRO Alnico coffee can guitar speaker. And this thing is huge. And what I mean by that, it is one heavy darn speaker. You know, if you think the magnet on a V30 is big, oh no. It is nothing like the Electro Voice SRO Alnico speaker. And on the back of it, the coffee can part, the reason it's called that is because the magnet is about the size of a coffee can sticking out of it in the back, and that's Alnico magnet. Now listen, I'm a huge fan of Alnico speakers, right? In fact, one of my favorite all-time speakers, and I did a video on it, so you should subscribe, you know, if you want to follow this. Okay, anyway, it's a Weber 12A125A speaker, and it only handles 30 watts in it, but it's Alnico, right? And Alnico for me, and I mean, maybe it varies for other people, but for me, on a clean guitar channel, there's just nothing like it, because it's very spongy, very woody sounding, kind of, in a way. Real natural, organic sounding is a good word to describe it. Really nice low end, but still has the sparkling kind of highs, but they're kind of warm. You know, they're not ice picky, kind of like a ceramic might be, you know. And anyway, it's one of my favorite speakers. But this is the Mac Daddy, right? The King Biscuit, right? I mean, who's your daddy? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's the Electro Voice SRO Nico, right? Supposed to be, again, the best guitar speaker ever made. You know, that's the opinion. Anyway, I think if that's really what it is, and it sure looked like it, but who knows what condition it's in. I have no idea. We'll find out, hopefully. That would be very, very exciting. You know, and I think they're very hard to find. I mean, like, really rare. You know, and they're from the 70s and things. So we shall find out. And if so, I mean, of course we'll do you know, an entire video on it, of course. You know, but wow, wouldn't that be cool? You know, now listen, I've heard a couple demos on YouTube, and if that's really the sound, it is quite awesome. I mean, just wow. A huge low end, but very well balanced. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, that'd be very exciting. Now listen, it's kind of a pain in the butt speaker too, because I believe the speaker, or may even be just a magnet, I think it's the entire speaker, weighs 20 pounds. And that's just the freaking speaker. And it's because that magnet is so huge. The Alnico magnet, you know. And, I mean, these days, to get, even today, to get an Alnico speaker that handles 75 watts, that's going to cost a fortune. I mean, we're talking like $200-300, you know. Even from, you know, WGS or whatever that, they have a Blackhawk speaker or something. So that's kind of like a replacement of the SRO, or similar to. So, and believe me, this cabinet that cutting a deal on, you know, is not even half that. You know, so we'll see. And the guy who's selling it, I guess he says he's a bass player, and so has no real use for it at all. Kind of useless to him, you know. And I mean, he was asking for more than what I offered, but I mean, I'm taking a real gamble here. I mean, it's a total crapshoot. Who knows? I guess at very worst, I'd be stuck with a, you know, at least a pretty nice guitar cabinet, you know, little 1x12 with casters, pretty cool. But I mean, it's old, and man, it's going to take a lot of work to clean it up, but that's kind of the fun of it. We'll see. But if that speaker is not blown or messed up or whatever, it could be really something amazing. You know, seriously. We'll see. So it's quite exciting. I guess I shouldn't get my hopes up, though. You know, because I'm not really offering what he's asking. So I'm not sure how motivated he would be to sell it to me. You know, we'll see. If it's still available. I mean, he said yes tomorrow, which would be stunning, because, I mean, am I really living in a town where there's just no guitar players or whatever? Right? I mean, this is like the holy grail of guitar speakers. You know, why isn't it gone already? You know, man, I feel quite isolated here. I mean, what's going on? I mean, that should have been snatched up, 2 minutes after it was advertised. It's my opinion, anyway. I guess, people don't really want to deal with the weight. And it was funny, I read one thing where they said the speaker was so heavy that the guy put it in his amp, and his amp fell over backwards because of the weight of the speaker. Right? I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, really, people are putting these in deluxe reverbs and things, and I mean, they have to cut holes in the baffle to make it fit, and so, so having it already in a cabinet, and it looks pretty decent, but I mean, I have no idea if it sounds good or, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. So it's very exciting, though, anyway, just for fun. But I'm quite surprised that, I don't know if they just didn't see the ad or just, I don't know. I just don't understand how it could still be there. So we'll see. And I guess these were quite popular in the 70s. I don't know, I think I read like the Rolling Stones used them. I don't know. Oh, and I saw it, what was it, the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia had a 4x12, and they were all these SRO speakers, and you can tell them right away because they have this huge white thing in the back that looks like a coffee can. It's the size of a freaking coffee can, and that is the Alnico magnet. And I guess they're very popular also with steel string players, so that's really something, and quite rare, and supposedly, the best guitar speaker ever made. I don't know about that, but, and as I mentioned, of course, it's super rare. It's hard to find that way, and very sought after. So we will see. And I mean, you don't know. The deal could fall through. The speaker could be blown. It could be not what I thought it was. Blah 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 blah. You never know on these kinds of things. It's worth the gamble, I guess, to see. Because if it is what I think it is, right, this gigantic Alnico 12-inch speaker, and if it sounds anywhere near as good as the Weber 12A125A, that'd be really something else. It'd be quite amazing. We'll see, and that's the thing, man, especially when you're buying, used speakers, man, you don't know what you're going to get. So, quite interesting. And there's a whole history on it. And I guess the guy said that he bought it in Cincinnati, Ohio, years ago. I mean, that's all I know of that particular one. Well, listen, if the deal falls through or whatever, it doesn't, if anything, it really educated me on the SRO coffee can Alnico speaker, because I've never heard of that. Now, I've heard that Electro Voice, the 12L or whatever, which is an awesome speaker, right? well, the problem with that speaker, it's the price, right? I mean, that's in the $200-300 range, I think. Even more than that, I've seen them. Anyway, very, very expensive. So, definitely out of my budget. But here, this is a older, and the fact that it's so rare just really piques my curiosity. And is it really as good as people say, or is it dirt? I don't know. We'll see. And I definitely have to keep it as a cabinet because I don't think it would fit in any of the amps that I own. It would be very hard to get it to fit in there. I think I have a PV Classic 30, and if it could fit in that, that'd be sweet. But the problem is it just sticks out so far that, I don't know that you could mount it really, And the truth is, they were talking about, these people were putting in like Fender Twins, and they had two of them, right? And it was like the amp then ended up being like over 100 pounds or something crazy like that. So I don't really want to do that either. Anyway, just something I ran across, which I think is really unusual and very interesting. And if it doesn't go through, if anything, I've, educated myself on the world's greatest speaker ever made. Right? With quite a long history, And, I looked at the videos, and there was a guy on YouTube, and sure enough, he had the Electro Voice SRO speaker, and I noticed that, he had a freaking room of, like, Dumble amps. Those are like $100,000 amps, right? He had, like, 2 or 3 of them, and all these super expensive boutique amps, so it must be a pretty darn good speaker. I don't think, if the guy can afford these $100,000 amps, you would think that, that he would get a pretty decent speaker. And sure enough, it was Electro Voice SRO. So, if that is the case, wow. Anyway, something fun to look forward to, and again, I'm not keeping my hopes up, especially at the price I offered him. I just didn't want to, sink a bunch of money into an unknown, So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll pan out like this, the other day, remember, I did a video on this as well, right? Recently was that Fender 2x12 cabinet, and it turned out great, and it was like $100, for a 2x12 Fender cabinet. I think, I'm not sure if it was from the late 70s, probably early 80s, I'm thinking. Anyway, did a video on it, and it really sounds great. I'm really pleased with it. So, maybe this will pan out, maybe it won't. Or, worst case scenario, is it does pan out and I get it, and then the sound sucks. It's crap. It's possible. We'll see. And who knows? I guess there are people who recone them, or at least they did recone them. So if anything, let's say I get it and it's blown, or just, needs to be reconed or something. Maybe just I could sell it to somebody who really wants it. You know, to have it, they can recone it, or I guess there are kits you can recone them with. I don't know. We'll see. So pretty exciting though. You know, we'll see. And I'll tell you what, man, I did everything in my power not to get it. You know, and the reason is, I have a lot of cabinets. I'm running out of room. You know, I'm sure I can make space for it, but still, and yeah, I think it's kind of time I need to, well, liquidate some of these amps, you know, and cabinets that are, you know, that are taking up all this space. However, I will say, getting all these different cabinets and things has been not only a great learning experience, but also learning what I really like in a speaker. And the big revelation for me, which would seem quite obvious, right? And in fact, that's what I had always wanted, was my little Fender Super Champ X2 amps. You know, they're like little 15-watt amps with 10-inch speakers. But the sound, I really like the sound. I just wish it was bigger. And I found that in cabinets, right? When you plug it into different 1x12 cabinets, 2x12 cabinets, and even 4x12 cabinets, then the sound becomes huge. You know, even from the little Fender Super Champ X2s. So, you know, and it led me to discover my favorite speaker of all. You know, which was the Weber 12A 125A Alnico speaker, and it wasn't that expensive. It wasn't much more expensive than a standard, you know, Celestion speaker. I mean, it was, yeah, you know, a brand new Celestion speaker, like a, you know, I mean, not even or an Eminence speaker, you know. It goes for about $100 or somewhere in there. You know, I think the V30 is a little more expensive than that. So it's not even as expensive as that. Okay, so it's the next day. So in fact, we're a couple hours away, right, from the possibility of me getting that cabinet. However, sadly, I don't think the weather is cooperating, because it's really, really cold out, and in fact there's a few snow flurries. So, and I haven't heard a word yet. We'll see. We'll see. I'm counting down. Okay, update. It looks like this may actually happen, right? I got a text from the guy, and he said that he'll be free around 6:30 to meet him in a grocery store parking lot. Right? And so this may actually happen. We may actually get to hear the greatest speaker ever made, or greatest guitar speaker ever made, in theory. You know, very suspicious, but we'll have to check it out. So I didn't think that was going to happen, but I think it may actually happen. So I'm going to go down there, and we'll see. So hang tight, we'll find out. Alright, so I'm on my way here to meet the guy, and and see if we can get that cabinet with the Electro Voice SRO coffee can Alnico speaker. Right? The greatest guitar speaker ever created, in theory. And of course this weather sucks. Let me show you. It's super cold and kind of rainy, and it was snowing a little bit. Just pretty much downright cruddy weather. But who knows, it could all be worth it. We'll see. Okay, so I'm on my way there. Now listen, I've read up online on this world's greatest guitar speaker ever made. And it's really funny that it really is known as pretty much that speaker. Now I will say there's an Electro Voice. I think it's the G12L. Very similar to the SRO, in fact. But man, that's a horribly expensive speaker. I mean, really expensive, seriously. So, if this can even get close to that, that'd be really super. We'll see. I have no idea. You know, this is a real crapshoot here. Alright. So, here we go. So we'll see. It's pretty exciting, really. It's kind of fun, too, you know. I mean, this may be a total dog, too, you know. You don't know. So we'll find out here. What's nice is we're pretty much meeting at a supermarket I'm very familiar with. Certainly not too far away, so that's a good thing. Yeah. So I'd be very interested to see. Now, it's been compared to some really nice speakers that are also horribly expensive. One being the Celestian Gold, right? And that's an Alnico speaker, I believe, and horribly expensive too. You know, in fact, I think it's one of Celestian's most expensive guitar speakers. You know, now I'm not saying it's the most expensive of all, but it's right up there. You know, so yeah, it's been compared to the Celestian Gold, which is one of Celestian's definitely more expensive speakers. And also, a lot of people say anyway that it's one of the best speakers around. You know, and certainly out of my price range. You know, but we'll see. You know. So anyway, you know, I mean, I've never heard this speaker. I have no idea if it's any good or not. Right? I mean, I'm just going by what I read online. But I found it really fascinating, to tell you the truth. I certainly haven't seen anyone online going, man, that's the worst speaker ever. You know? No, it's the opposite. And really, the consensus is that it's the best guitar speaker ever. So we'll see. Alright, I'm going to turn this off because we're getting pretty close here. Okay, guys. I got it. I picked it up. It's in the back of my vehicle. Awesome. And I'll tell you a few things. While I was waiting here, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Christine with John Carpenter, the guy who sells the kid the car. Alright, well, there was a guy, and I thought maybe it was him, And I was like, oh man, is that really who I'm dealing with? And he frightened me, you know. And luckily it wasn't. So the guy who sold it to me was super cool. Just another musician, a bassist, you know. So told me all about it. Pretty interesting. But let me tell you something. Here's an extra bonus. Unfortunately, the battery in my camera died. But I went ahead and picked up the cabinet and speaker. Guy was a nice guy. In fact, you know, I basically offered him a little bit more than half of what he was originally asking. Right? And, well, he held off a bit, you know, but eventually sold it to me. I felt bad, and you know, he had to bring it down. So, as a gesture of goodwill, I gave him an extra $10. You know, which he was actually very thankful, it seemed. You know, so, you know, and he told me he's a bass player, and so I can't really use the cabinet and speaker, you know. Anyway, so I think it worked out for both of us. It's fine, great. All right, now, I guess a couple things. Okay, number one. I love the little speaker cabinet, and it kind of looks a little beat up and things, but it's got metal handles and casters and things, and it may have been an amp at one time, I don't know. It's got a space at the top, you know, which I suppose you could fit some kind of amp controls there, so maybe, or it's just the way the amp was designed. Maybe it's ported. It's a you know, a closed back cabinet, and right away I was taken aback by how cool it was, to tell you the truth. Just the size is just perfect. Now it's got casters. You know, usually you don't see casters on little 1x12 cabinets, you know, but this one did, and for good reason, you know, because I had read that the Electro Voice SRO Alnico speaker is really heavy, you know. I thought, oh, come on. You know, well, it's 20 pounds, something. It's not that big a deal. But once it's in a cabinet, man, it's heavy. And I guess that's the one drawback, you know. I mean, I have a VHT cabinet, and it weighs almost nothing. It's got a Nico speaker in it. And, yeah, it weighs next to nothing. In fact, when I first got it, I thought, oh, man, this is too light to have a speaker in it. And I thought maybe he was just trying to sell me the cabinet without the speaker in it. But no, it was in there. It was just very, very light, surprisingly. Well, that's not the case with this thing. So let's take a look at the cabinet. Alright, now here's the cabinet. Right there. Okay, and you can see it's on casters, so it can be rolled around. It's a little 1x12. Right? You can see the top is kind of rough right there. You know, so it's kind of in the hallway here. And if you look at the back, it's just a closed back cabinet there. Right. I don't know if you can see that. trying to show you the jack plate. There it is. Yeah, it has an XLR and a 1/4 inch metal side handles right there, and removable grill. Here it's just Velcro. And here it's got the I'll poke this in on it. Here it's got a removable grill. Alright, revealing the speaker here. And a massive baffle board there. And that would make sense because the speaker is pretty massive too. So, there. And here's something very interesting. And I'm not sure which is which, but let me put this back on. There we go. Okay. Now there, do you see there's a space? Let me try to focus in on that. Do you see that space right there, all along there? And so that's either because it's ported, sound comes out of there. It almost gives it a kind of 3D effect, really. Because there's a space inside the cabinet, so sound comes out of there. And that's either by design, or maybe this cabinet was a little amp at one time and they pulled the guts out of the amps. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just really like the size of it, and I think might be able to clean it up a little bit. That would be super cool if you could. So there it is. It's not terribly heavy, you know, but it's on casters, which is nice. There you go. So I mean, you know, for basically, it's kind of like the Fender I did a video on, you know, the $100 Fender cabinet. Okay, so I really like that cabinet. You know, it's just a really cool size. You know, it's kind of an oversized 1x12 cabinet. You know, we saw the metal handles, really sturdy and things. You know, I guess it has an XLR and or 1/4 inch jack in, which is really cool too. And I actually like the casters. You know, now casters in theory are cool until they start to rattle and stuff, you know, if you turn the cabinet up. But here these are quite quiet. Now when you're rolling the thing around, they're not so quiet. They're pretty noisy actually, but that's fine. Not too worried about that. So listen, at very worst, right, well, I like the little cabinet so much, I would have paid what I paid just for the cabinet without a speaker. You know, I just really like the size of it, and the fact that it's kind of oversized so it doesn't sound boxy or anything like that. And definitely heavy duty, you know. You know, it's probably been around for so many years, and you know, I don't think anything will happen to it. It's just awfully sturdy cabinet. Very cool. Alright, now, of course, when I got it home, what's the first thing I did? Of course I tried it! Right? And I had no idea what to expect, honestly. For all I know, the speaker could have been blown, you know, could have sounded terrible, and so on and so on. Who knows, you know? I mean, it's an old speaker, you know, pretty much from the 70s, you know? And, I mean, granted, it's hyped to be, you know, the greatest speaker ever created. You know, and And let me tell you something. I think that is indeed the case. I think it may be one of the best speakers I've ever heard. Guitar speakers, really. Or at least a really great speaker. I mean, every bit as good as like the Weber, right? 12A 125A Alnico speaker that I really, really like. And it sounds better than even some of the 212 cabs. You know, let's take a listen to it. All right, now listen to this. This is the Fender Super Champ X2, which is a little 15-watt tube amp, right, into the cabinet with the Electro Voice SRO Alnico. And okay. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. You get this huge sound, and let me tell you something. You can always tell the quality of a speaker by how it handles the low end. You know, and a lot of cheaper speakers flub out, you know, on the low end, or they start to distort and things. And that's not the case here. And it's just huge sound for a little 1x12, you gotta remember. Right? I mean, I get a sound of, you know, pretty close to a 4x12 is really what it sounds like to me. And I'll tell you one thing, you know, probably because of the quality of the speakers that I was running into, I was kind of overcompensating on the low end to kind of make up for the kind of cruddy speakers I had. And that's a 1x12. And that was on the neck pickup, and I can use the middle pickup configuration, basically. And there you get that kind of I don't know how to explain it, almost kind of real woody, kind of organic sound that is, of an Alnico speaker, basically. Bridge position. Back to the neck position. Amazing. I mean, seriously, for this kind of sound quality, normally, you'd pay definitely in the $400 to $500 range, if not higher than that, for this kind of sound quality and speaker quality. Just amazing, really. Listen, it kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of the Cannabis Rex, in a lot of ways. But it has the advantage of being very similar to a Cannabis Rex with a bigger low end, much bigger, and more controlled low end. I mean, when I say bigger, kind of extended, if you like, but not flubby at all. And it has the advantage of kind of that Alnico type top end, you know? Yeah, see that kind of... Sure to become one of my favorite speakers. Now, is this the best guitar speaker ever created? That I'm not sure about, but I'll tell you this much. I think it's a really great speaker. And I mean, definitely going to be one of my favorites. So this was a bargain of bargains, fantastic deal. And one unintended consequence is that it makes me reconsider some of my other speakers and cabinets. You know, that maybe if I could find something similar, you know, that's not too expensive, and maybe move to that, because I just love the sound of this, you know. Just has a huge sound, warmth, great low end, and that kind of Alnico-ish high end, and just really well balanced. Man, it's just awesome. Really, really. I'm sorry, I'm a believer. I really do think it's a great speaker. Now, is it the best ever created? Don't know exactly, but definitely superb. So why other guitarists just didn't snatch that up right away, I'm not sure. Just fantastic sound. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, this goes way, way, way beyond my expectations. At the very minimum, I was hoping to at least get maybe a cabinet out of it, you know, that I liked, and I do like that one very much, you know, or, I mean, just an okay speaker, but I never expected it to be quite this good, you know, quite frankly. I mean, I just, yeah, don't have much to say about it. It's also very efficient. hoping just to get a speaker that could be used, you know. But I didn't expect it to be like one of the best speakers I have, really, sound-wise. Really excellent. Superb. It's a really nice warm sound. Yeah, and to me, if I had to describe it, I would say it's very much like a Cannabis Rex. It's just as efficient. It's very efficient. Kind of has in that real present sound that like you would get in a Cannabis Rex, but with a bigger low end and more of an Alnico type sound in the top end, which is real kind of woody, organic kind of thing, you know. And the warmth of the speaker is unbelievable. And definitely is better sounding than any of my 1x12 cabinets, just because it's huge sound. I mean, you'd swear you're playing through a, not even a 212, but a 412, really, almost. You know, that really huge sound. Holy smokes. Really awesome. Really. And, you know, I think that it really shows that one of the most important parts of your guitar sound is the speaker. You know? Makes a huge difference. And I'm totally blown away, and it's really clear and things, you know. Now I'll tell you, I have the, you know, I can mess with the EQ on the amp to match exactly the speaker to the way I like it, but here I just plugged it in. I had it set up for other speakers that I had. Man. Sound. But what I found as well is that it's really quite a dark speaker. Just fantastic. That's on the neck pickup. I go to the middle pickup. Even on the bridge pickup, so it's a very dark speaker, which I personally like. Now listen, if you're playing, you know, really heavy metal or something like that, or you want super bright, kind of like, you know, country-ish, kind of super bright type thing, then maybe this isn't the speaker for you. But I personally love this really kind of dark tone, but still being super clear and not muddy whatsoever. So that really is, well, it's the kind of speaker I love anyway. Alright, so this was well worthwhile. Very, very pleased. And it was a gamble, that's for sure. And it worked out really great. Alright, very good. See you next time.